Once you're established in the industry, your peers, your family, your friends, how do you think they viewed you as an adult performer during that time?
It was cool. You know, first of all, I think as a performer, what might have been different than as a director. You're acting particularly as a performer. You're acting particularly as a performer or as a director.
As a performer.
As a performer, the women couldn't quite grasp it. You know, really wouldn't talk about it too much. I think the men, it was cool. Oh my gosh, who fucked Ginger Lynn, you know, Vanessa Del Rio. Oh my God, the men, it was cool. It was like an absolute celebrity, and some wondered why I quit mainstream to do that. The women rarely acknowledged it as a cool thing. Actually, I mean, some women were turned on by it, certainly, that I dated it, but friends of friends and relatives, I don't have that many relatives I dealt with. When I moved out here, particularly when I became Paul Thomas, I let most of my family go. It wasn't like a didactic decision.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened.
Mm-hmm. And as a director?
As a director, I could share much more of my experience with my friends and family, you know, and it was totally cool, very admirable, especially because I was making so much money.
Why do you think that is, though? That
well, because
as a director,
yeah. As a performer, I was a prostitute. That's what we are. We're acting, so you know, we were paid to fuck. And although that is not anything to be ashamed of at all, I also don't think it's something to be particularly proud of. It's just you're a welder, you're a plumber. You know, you and I, particularly, we might do it better than most. But still, I mean, have you ever been particularly proud of the fact that you're a good fuck? I haven't. Or that I was able to get it up and do it on camera.
It has less value as I've become older.
It's just, we used to actually call ourselves, there were about 12 of us in San Francisco who worked all the time. Myself and John Leslie and Richard Pacheco and Joey Silvera. We were the Welders. We were blue collar. It was blue collar. You know, so it wasn't something to be particularly proud of or particularly ashamed of. But other people perceived it as, it was difficult for me to share that, really. Oh, I fucked, you know, Annette Haven the other day. It was amazing. My friends were more conservative. My friends tend to be very well-educated professionals.
Of that original 12, how many are still with us?
It still freaks me out that John Leslie, Jamie Gillis just died. Joey Silvera. It was up to Jesus.
Richard
Pacheco, but right. Although he was never a woodsman. He was an actor, clever guy, very clever guy. You know, there's a guy named John Seaman. That was his real name. I know I'm missing I'm missing people here, so I don't really know.
The
Randy West, Eric Edwards, and then there was the whole New York group, of course.
the the threat of HIV. I think you probably left the business before they started testing, requiring performers to test with it. As a director, though, you had to have some observations about. Was it just okay? You know, this is this new thing. Now we got to have testing. Like performers need to have tests, but did that change the dynamic a bit of having sex on camera for other performers? Did you observe that? Was it in people's front of their minds or in the back?
Yeah. Not once the heat was going. Not once you were turned on and horny and going at it. It didn't matter so much. The rubbers were always ugly, unfortunate. But once the heat was on, it was on. It didn't matter.
So for a while after the first initial, I think the first male performer, it was Mark.
John Holmes died of AIDS. You know.
Well, talk to Mark Wallace when Mark Wallace was caught having been faking his test for some time. Vivid, which was the company you were exclusively producing movies for, went condom only for probably about a year.
Right.
How did you?
Longer than a year, a long time.
Was it longer than?
Oh yeah. We did.
Did that give you an opportunity to go? Do I want to still doing? Do I still want to be doing this if I have to have my performers wearing these ugly
Oh no! I felt good about it.
You felt good.
Yeah. I felt it was the responsible thing to do. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I felt good about it. It got tawdry sometimes, ugly, oily, unfortunate. I just think of withered rubbers and guys not being able to get it up because of wearing a rubber, and I hated that. But then guys started devising. Viagra came in. Different ways of guys shooting.
What are you, Swedish all of a sudden? Viagra? Viagra.
How do you say it?
You could be pronouncing it correctly.
Viagra came in.
If you do it the German way. Viagra!
Viagra came in.
Let's talk about
it wasn't a big issue.
Let's talk about Viagra, erection drugs. Obviously, you would agree that I think the passion, that the hunger that a person has for an individual that's the lightning rod there. These pills bypass that. It's a physical response without requiring that mental investment.
They don't completely, though. You got to have something going on, or the Viagra won't work. You got to still have something going on. I did notice, hard-ons were becoming literally wood. They call them wood. They were wood. They wouldn't feel. But I was about to say, yes, things became less sensitive, less intimate, less desperate. But I didn't really notice that. I didn't really notice that. It was no big change at all. I was grateful for the for Viagra. Viagra, what do you call it? I was grateful for it.
Was there any pressure to do scenes that weren't in your wheelhouse, whether they were gangbangs or dom sub? Interracial for some people is a problem. I think more for the women. Is there anything?
No, on the contrary, I couldn't do scenes that I would have liked to have done, but nothing went against my grain particularly. As I mentioned before, what I disliked was saying, okay, you can have sex six. We want you to create an award-winning screenplay, PT, and in it we want you to have 6 sex scenes. One's with a clown, one's with 2 girls, one's anal, one's in a closet. And because the more restrictions you put on the screenplay, the less naturally it can develop. So no, like any predictable paradigm, I don't like it. I like to let and that happened all the time. Where you got, the vivid girl has to have 3 sex scenes, and one of them has to be a girl, one of them has to be with her husband, and one of them should only work with Steve at St. Croix on a Thursday. That's what got me, not that. And then usually once I get into it, I couldn't make it as kinky as I wanted to. Really, I was never turned off by any particular kinks that I was asked to do at all.
Interesting. How do drugs and alcohol affect the mindset of a person who is a performer? Speaking from the male perspective.
Well, cocaine, back in the day being like 1980, late 70s, cocaine was an aphrodisiac. Many times I went into the bathroom with John Holmes and we'd do a couple lines of cocaine, go up, and the director knew that he had a window. It was all very open, Tootski! Doing he had a window, maybe an hour, to get it, because after that it was all downhill. Mm-hmm. That's how cocaine tends to work.
That first line is great.
Yeah, actually the first few years I could go quite a while with cocaine. But it changed.
It changes.
But, yeah,
change.
And then a little tiny bit of methamphetamine helped. So I mean, done in the right way, drugs could help you. Being totally stoned or tripping, fucked up, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And certainly as a director, when I would get, when Shilar was, at first, I don't think he even smokes pot anymore, because I was smoking pot, and he'd give me a puff and I'd get stoned. He does smoke, okay, but I'd get stoned and I couldn't direct. Oh God, being stoned on marijuana didn't work for me at all. And I don't drink it really, so that
didn't. Some crazy weed. You need sativa. You need the creative stuff, man. Stuff that artists.
Yeah, okay.
But it was always odd to me, and maybe it's just me, but that suicide was, it's just more prevalent with male performers. I mean,
like John Doe's?
John Doe, Cal Jammer, the guy that was with Celeste.
Okay.
Woody Long. Rex, who used to work for Video Exclusives.
Right.
I'm sure there's a couple other. Maybe because there's less male performers than female performers, so maybe the ratio is actually smaller. And I'm not including the drug overdose. I'm not.
Yeah. I think suicide's a very viable option in life. I always have. I'm surprised that a lot more people don't commit suicide. But you're talking about overdoses from drugs?
I'm talking actual jumping off a building onto a fucking
pavement.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't experienced more extreme behavior in the porno business than I have. It really can fuck with your self-esteem. So if you're not a strong person to begin with, and a lot of the people aren't, you can really fuck with your head, your self-esteem.
One of the things that I was talking to Shawn Michaels the other day, and we were talking about our twin roles, where we are a performer and we are just kind of concerned about our thing. And then there was a nurturing aspect that some people have where you see somebody younger kind of going through a pattern of bad decisions and you want to take them aside and go, listen, there's a lot more potential that you could really mine if you were to just kind of change how you're doing things, the people you're hanging out with. You want to kind of shelter them, and then obviously the person goes down a bad path, or the girl disappears, or you hear, did you ever have that conflict between yourself where it's, hey, everybody's on their own journey, they just have to find out for themselves, and the other part where you kind of want to nurture and protect either your fellow male performer or your female peer?
Yes, as I mentioned, I feel with great power comes great responsibility, and I felt a huge responsibility to the best that I could, making sure the people that worked for me were on the right path and making good decisions, and that their presence on my set was a good thing for them. Did what I could. I didn't do what I could. I did what I did. you know, uh, I was always able to say, where is this leading? I'm making movies. I'm an artist. I'm a director. I'm finding more and more effective ways of expressing the sexual psychology of relationships and how that affects people's sex. And that's how I viewed my movie making. These days, when almost these kids get to do is fuck in internet scenes, I don't know where could they, even if they're, where can that lead except to more fucking in internet scenes, which is fine. But if you need to think that this is leading somewhere other than money in the bank, I don't see how it is. But people rationalize things in all sorts of different ways, or don't need to. There's no.
Exactly. Yeah. And just the tendency of performers to just there's this fear the money's going to stop, the phone calls are going to stop, so they'll work every day. And
Right.
I've tried to personally set aside time with my certain girls in the business that I like, and you're like, hey, you want to go to this concert? Big concert. I booked. It's like, wait a minute, you're working 25 days a month, and you're getting a good rate. Why don't you just take if you really want to spend some time with someone and go to experience an event, just take it on your way to your book. Do you think the business sells a lifestyle to viewers as opposed to maybe an escape?
A lot of fans, yeah, they got T-shirts and whole lifestyles revolved around porno, sure, but I think it's more of an escape. I hope it is.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be more of a lifestyle because swinging used to be. Because swinging used to be so much more prevalent than it was. So anyways, the whole swinging lifestyle used to go along with porno, but I don't get that it is anymore.
Well, porn is definitely an obsession, it seems like now. More so than it was when I started.
An obsession with view.
And access to it.
Sure, it can be. It's easy to have it as an obsession now. But it was an obsession before. It's an obsession. Probably less for us than because we've had it. It's definitely an obsession.
You've always strived to have a creative in your material that you produced and directed, do you think that creativity has been lost in the industry amongst the companies and the owners? Or it seems that they're just driven by this, any clicks, any dollars, as opposed to let's make something unusual and draw people to it.
It's definitely been lost. It doesn't have the value. People don't. I imagine a lot of the people today could be creative, but there's the value is not there. You know, I talked to Shilar, okay, who's the hardest working man in town now. You know how many shoots he plans, and don't you? Yeah, and I said, Shilar, how do you all of these shoots and these? How do these internet companies make money? As well, they have like 1 billion people. There's not that many of them. And they just bank on a 1% sign up rate. Maybe people pay for it. And when there's not there's not a whole lot of value put on really creatively presenting a scene. You must know that with your work with Kelly, who's able to be creative, but there's no value put on it. People don't want to pay for it.
Mm.
So back to another question. Yeah, the potential is definitely there now for people just to get burnt out.
Mm.
And,
Is the erotic film dead?
no. There's certainly 1 million good erotic films waiting to be made. And I think some of them are still done. You know, I'm sure you do a couple a year. Wicked does a few a year. No, not at all.
Okay.
It's not dead.
Do you think the industry is on its last legs, as so many people believe?
Well, why would they think that? I mean, there's more interest. There's more people. There's more eyeballs. Way more eyeballs viewing pornography now than there was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Way more. So certainly those type of... You're talking about as features like I made? Is that...
Well, the ability for a company to make money in a form other than McDonald's scenes. 2 people in a room on the internet fucking.
Yeah.
Brunettes, MILFs, anal, Chinese schoolgirl, Asian schoolgirl.
Yeah.
All these niches, all these categories that now spreads out the industry. You know, it's a buffet.
No, I think if someone had the creative integrity to make a really good movie and push it really hard and stick behind it and do that, I think there's still people who would watch it.
What movie do you think is that for you that you did not direct, that maybe you wished you had? Something that was done by somebody else?
I just think John Leslie was a fucking genius. I gotta tell you, I just think when he did his Gonzo, just
the Lecher,
the voyeur,
the voyeur.
Yeah, the tension, the story with no words that he would create right there, and then he did some features, not a lot.
Did Chameleons?
Yeah, I did Chameleon. Yeah. Sure. I mean,
Dog Walker,
great. That's right. Wicked stuff. You know, Brad is an art director. I look at Wicked stuff, and there's certainly some good production value there. I'm amazed at how cookie cutter the sexual scenes are. Amazed that there's not any seduction or tension or creativity. So I don't think, no, there's... Bryn Pryor's got some ability, but I don't... What's going on right now, I really don't see him.
Here's my take on that. I think seduction and tension, and I don't think a lot of people know what that is. People younger than me. You know, it's all about, all right, let's do this. It's like a physical sport. Yoga class, time to fuck. The tension, people just freak out when they're uncomfortable. So forget the fact that there's some tension.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to touch somebody, or you got to look at them. You know, look them in the eye and not touch them. Want them. The new generation doesn't get that.
Like I told you an hour ago, I think kids are stupid. And I may be completely wrong.
Kids
but
up to
I
what
think
age?
Kids are 25-year-olds are stupid. 35-year-olds are stupid. They just seem stupid. I sit down with them. They don't know how to talk. They don't know what to talk about. And it just may be generational differences.
Are we old men?
You are, I'm not.
You know, the landscape changes. Obviously, the landscape changed when you left directing. The landscape changes for people that are searching.
And I'm sure they're not stupid. They might be stupid. Stupid's a stupid word. Stupid's a stupid word. I don't know. Just glad to be here.
Thank you. Glad to have you.